Hello yarn crawlers, I'm Emily O'Brien. I am the featured knitting designer at Knits and Knots Tahoe for the Sierra Nevada yarn crawl, which is super fun. Thank you for joining me. So I just wanted to do a little kind of virtual trunk show where I model some of my patterns for you so you can get an idea of how big they are and how they look on the body and different ways to wear them, since you're not able to go in person and fondle all the wonderful squishy yarn at the shop. So a little bit about me. I have been knitting since I was 12 years old, and I started designing about 3 years ago. I'm often inspired by architecture. I was a theater design major in college, and I really love the work of Frank Lloyd Wright and just looking at all sorts of historical architecture, so I draw a lot from that. And also nerdy things. I love me a good book or a good movie, so some of my patterns have some fun fandom themes going on. Also, I really focus on making patterns that are fun to knit. I mostly do accessories, but I always focus on changing up the stitch pattern or the color or something so it's not a boring slog of a piece to work on, and it's potato chippy and it makes you excited to get to the next section while you're knitting. So let's look at some of the samples. First up, this is the pattern that is premiering for the Sierra Nevada yarn crawl. There are kits available for this. It's the Autumnal Equinox mitts. And I'm filming this video a little bit earlier than the yarn crawl, so it will be a hat and mitt combo, but currently the hat looks like this, so I will not be modeling the hat for you, but it features the same cable motif of 1x1 cables along the sides and cute little acorn cables. So it's very fall, and this yarn is dyed by the wonderful Lauren of Valkyrie Fibers, who is a local dyer to Knits and Knots Tahoe. And this sample is the Woodland Realm colorway, which is a very nice autumnal tonal orange. The other color is Mirkwood, which is kind of a tonal gray brown and a little darker than this. But I think that this yarn, this tweed yarn, just looks fabulous, and they're really comfortable mitts. This is a fingering weight yarn. I believe you should be able to make both the hat and the mitts out of one skein of yarn. I will have that information by the time you're watching this video, but I can't confirm while I make this video because, as you saw, the hat isn't totally done yet. So I can't fully do my yardage math yet. But yeah, so this is the mitts. The mitts take approximately 45 grams of fingering weight yarn, and pick up a kit if you're interested. So let's look at some other patterns. This is my Sparkle and Fluff shawl, which is a boomerang style shawl that takes 2 skeins of yarn. One skein is a mohair skein, about a 50 gram mohair skein, and I call it Sparkle and Fluff because I used a Stellina fingering weight skein for the other skein. So it's a really good way to use up those beautiful hand-dyed mohair colors that you grab and then don't know what to do with. I think it's a really fun knit. I think it's a super wearable knit as well. I actually wear this one all the time. I like to wear this one mostly forward like this. It stays in place really great because of the boomerang shape, and it's lighter weight physically than a lot of my knitted shawls, but it still keeps you really warm because of that fuzzy mohair. And if you're not into mohair, you could definitely still make this. I would suggest using a lace weight skein in place of the mohair, because then it will give you that same airy drapey, like kind of see-through gauzy look that this has without having mohair if you have an allergy or an aversion to mohair. You can also wear it the kind of more traditional over your back sort of way, and again, stays in place really nice because of that boomerang shape. This is Sparkle and Fluff. I have a sister pattern which fell on the ground, to Sparkle and Fluff, which is the Glitter and Floof. And this is the same deal where it's one fingering weight skein and one mohair skein, but it's a cowl. So if you're more of a cowl person and less of a shawl person, this is an option. Both of these samples are knit in Hawaii Bazaar yarns, but you can of course use any fingering weight or mohair. And this one is a really generous wide cowl. So I kind of like to wear it like this, really big and wide. Sometimes I'll wear it like more bunched up around my neck, like this. And the nice thing is it's a really drapey cowl, so you can kind of just get it set up and then forget about it for the rest of the day. Like if I bend down, it's just gonna scooch down and not be like a shawl where it might fall off or get messed up or whatever. Because it is taller, I also sometimes like to wear this one in what I call the Help Me One Obi Kenobi style. Put my little disc into my droid or whatever. And this is nice and warm for winter because of that mohair. It's just options. This is a really simple pattern, stitch-wise. Pretty much just knit some purls, yarn overs, knit two together, and slip stitches. So if you're a beginner wanting to use mohair, this would be a really great pattern for you to try out. All of my patterns that are lace textured like this include both fully charted and fully written instructions. So if you're more of a chart person or you're more of a written person, they'll work for you either way. All right, let's move on to something different. This is Settlers of Natan, which is a crescent style shawl. It is DK weight, it's a little heavier than the previous ones. It uses about 3 skeins of 100 gram DK. This is a sample in Valkyrie Fibers DK yarn, who is local to Knits and Knots Tahoe. And it is a really wonderful shawl. It's crescent shaped, so it's pretty easy to just throw it around your neck and forget about it. It has a garter stitch texture on the body and a cute little eyelet detail. This one is inspired by my favorite board game, Settlers of Catan, thus the Settlers of Natan. And it has a hexagon pattern visible in the garter stitch detailing, so you can see the little trapezoids that make hexagons like the game tiles in Settlers of Catan. So crescent shape, nice and big, really easy to throw it on, forget about it. And it's a nice warmer DK weight. Also, it will knit up faster because it is a DK weight. Like I said before, fully charted, fully written instructions. This is only knit purl, knit two together, yarn over, garter stitch kind of stuff. So a good pattern for newer knitters as well. Next up, this is Ambrosian, which I designed to be it's a bit of you kind of wear it like a scarf, but it's technically a shawlette because it is skinnier at the ends and wider at the middle. But I designed this to work well with variegated fingering weight skeins. So if you have a really pretty, beautiful, variegated fingering weight skein that you've just been hoarding and you don't know what to do with, this is a great way to use up those single perfect, beautiful skeins that you just didn't have a pattern in mind for when you bought it. And it's really simple to knit up. It includes instructions for weighing the scarf as you work on it so that you can get the maximum amount of your yardage used. It is nice that it has a little bit more of a shawlette look, even though it's a longer item because of that thicker middle part. And it's just garter stitch with a little bit of a lace edge on it. Alrighty, we've done lots of neck thing. Let's do a head thing and mess up my hair in the process. This is the Snow Fuzz Hat, which I know it gets really cold in the Lake Tahoe area, so thought this would be a good one to include. This is a slouchy beanie style hat, and it is 1 skein of fingering weight and 1 skein of Surrey alpaca. So if you really like those super soft fuzzy Surrey alpaca skeins, it's great for that. You don't have to do that. You could also use a mohair in a fingering, or you could just use a DK weight yarn and knit it without holding 2 yarns doubled. But to get this fuzzy effect, you gotta have that texture. I like this. It's super warm. It has the folded brim for extra warmth. It has all that slouch for extra warmth and just cuteness. Now my hair is gonna be fuzzy for the rest of the video. This is fully reversible. It features a seed stitch pattern that blends really nicely into the ribbing of the hat and the decreases, and because it is seed stitch, it looks good on both sides. So you can decide which side you like better. That is Snow Fuzz. And another hat, this is the Apiculture Hat, which is a stranded colorwork pattern of little bees and honeycombs. I am a beekeeper, so I enjoy things with bees on it, and that's pretty much why this exists. But yeah, so the honeycomb also forms into a flower from the top of the crown, so all the color work works together to make the crown look like a flower. It's another beanie style hat, not slouchy like the Snow Fuzz, more just fitted to your head. But I think it's a cute fall winter hat, and I like that the bees are present, but the honeycomb makes it a little bit more subtle, so it's not just like bees on your head. And this is made in Brooklyn Tweed Peary, but you could use any 2 colors of fingering weights suitable for color work. Awesome. This is a large one. This is the Great Diamond Authority, which is a half pie shawl. So it's basically a big giant half circle. And it features 4 colors of fingering weight. My sample is knit in singles, so it's very extra drapey, but lots of people have knit it in just a standard applied fingering weight, and it still looks great. So it features 4 lace charts, again, all fully written and charted, of different diamonds, and this is inspired by Steven Universe, the show on Cartoon Network, if you've ever watched that, and that's why it's called the Great Diamond Authority, because there's lace for all the different diamonds. It's very large, cozy, easy to wear. This is kind of like big and lacy and fancy, so I like to wear this when I'm trying to look nice. Another way I like to wear this is to put a little pin here, kind of wear it traditional, over the shoulder style. And that lace just looks nice. I got lots of compliments on this one when I wear it in public. Alrighty. This is another shawl. I love designing shawls. That is Mosaic Knitting, which if you haven't tried Mosaic Knitting, it is very easy. It is not hard. You just work with 1 color at a time. So it's a little bit easier than stranded color work where you are working with 2 colors in the same row. But you only work it with 1 color at a time, and you just slip the other color stitches. It's very easy. So this is a sideways knit triangle shawl. It's called the Old Library Shawl. And it features archways inspired by the library at Trinity College in Dublin. So it's an architecture inspired one. And I love wearing this one kerchief style. You could also wear it to the side. Sometimes I wear it to the side like this with a little shawl cuff. And you can see it's not technically reversible, but this is what the back side of that mosaic color work looks like. And this is 2 skeins of fingering weight yarn. Pick colors that contrast nicely so that the architectural archways show up. All right, this is one of my more popular patterns. Puppies are cute and kitties are cute. These are just cute little adorable color work charts of kitties or puppies. They're fingering weight, so pick 2 colors of fingering weight. There are companion cowl patterns. So there's a hat and a cowl for the puppies, hat and a cowl for the kitties. These do come in adult and child sizes, because of course the adorable kitties, lots of little kids love to have cute things on their stuff, so kitties are cute, puppies are cute. These are facts. And they are stranded color work. All right, this is the Geodesic Cowl. This is modularly knit. So I wouldn't recommend this for beginners. It's a little bit more of an intermediate to advanced pattern because of the modular knitting. So this star pattern is achieved by each triangle being knit separately in the round, and then you pick up and construct triangles as you go. There are very detailed photos in the pattern for this. And you can kind of see what I'm talking about. This is the larger size, and I alternated colors on triangles for this one. So you can see that each triangle is made separately. But you pick up as you go, so there's no seaming except for at the ends. It helps to close up these little holes while you're weaving in your ends. So these are modularly knit. It's called the Geodesic Cowl. You knit this border in the round, and then you go and take stitches from your border and work all the triangles around, and then you do another border on the other side. Again, very detailed photos showing you exactly where to pick up your stitches and do all that fun stuff in the pattern. This is inspired by Spaceship Earth in Epcot. The big ball uses triangles to create the big ball shape, so I was inspired by the geodesic dome nature of that. I love geometry. And the bigger one uses a couple skeins, but this little guy uses just 1 skein of Malabrigo Arroyo to make the whole cowl. So it's a perfect 1 skein DK project. Another 1 skein project is Foul Temptress. This uses just 1 skein of spin cycle dyed in the wool, which is a sport weight, but you could use 1 skein fingering, you could use 1 skein sport. And this has 2 lace charts included. This is Siren Song, which has kind of like a fish tail, mermaid tail inspired lace chart. And then this one, which is Lilith's lace. So you get both lace charts included in the pattern. So you could make it multiple times and have it look different ways. This one has a little picot mined off. This one just has a little eyelet border. And this is constructed, you knit it like a triangle shawl, and then you join the back of the triangle together so that it stays on your neck like a cowl, even though it's that triangle shape. And that is how it is able to use so much less yardage. So these are fun to work up in color shifting yarn like this. They're kind of perfect for that, to show off the different changes in color. All right, just a couple more. This is Stronghold, which is a perfect beginner project. It's only knit, purl, and slips all in the round. It is heavyweight worsted Aran weight in a tweed. And it just has that nice purl ridge and slip stitches texture. Really great for winter. I like to wear it doubled up with my coat in the winter. It's very chunky and warm and woolen. So nice. And finally, this is my newest pattern that has released aside from the Autumnal Equinox set. This is Bubble Tea Shawl, which is a lace shawl that is designed to work with extremely speckled yarns, as you can see. So the nice simple lines of the lace help balance out all those crazy speckle colors so that they don't fight with each other. So this is just one fingering weight skein, 100 gram skein, makes this shawl. It's knit at a larger gauge on larger needles to make it bigger and light and airy and lacy. I like to wear it like that. I also get entangled. Like to wear it like this. So it's another great project for just one skein that you picked up on a whim and had no idea what to do with. A really great gift project because it only takes the one skein of yarn. So it of course knits up a little faster. And that is the Bubble Tea Shawl. That's pretty much everything I wanted to show you. I hope you enjoyed this virtual yarn crawl trunk show tour and that it was helpful to see all the patterns on my body so you can see different ways that you would wear things, get an idea of how the yarn plays with the stitches. And if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email, kittywithacupcake@gmail.com. Check out my Instagram where you'll see pictures of all these and more. That is Kitty with a Cupcake on Instagram. And I hope you have a wonderful virtual yarn crawl. Thanks so much for watching.